So good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, May 3rd, 2021. The time is 10 a.m. This is a special meeting for Discuss Solid Waste, officially calling this meeting to order. Attending are Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, we are being visited today, and presenting for us is our Principal Planner, Lorene Chaffin, and Doug Goodwin. And so take it away. We have three business items for discussion. The first one being 2021 construction projects.
Good morning, Commissioners. Doug Goodwin for the record. Just want to hit on the two big construction projects we have this year, which is the Ramey Z-walls, extending those, and then a storage building down at the Fighting Creek landfill. Contracts have been signed for both of those projects for the design with engineering firms. They are working on design. That's currently in progress. And we should have both of those projects wrapped up by the end of September. So they're not really huge projects.
Those seawalls are great. Yesterday, I was at the dump yesterday. I was at the facility yesterday, and everybody's lined up to get inside, and I went to the seawalls, and I'm thinking, man, people are so programmed. I think they're great, by the way, guys, but that's just my opinion. Okay.
If no questions on the projects, I'll turn it over to Lorraine.
Take it away.
So touching on the second agenda item, which is the gas to energy facility.
Uh-huh.
Just for the board's information, we do have our professional services agreement with Paragon Consulting.
Yes.
Is on the agenda for the public meeting for tomorrow.
For tomorrow, good.
And that will get us rolling on the valuation of that property.
Okay, great.
Any questions on that part? Okay.
Not without exec. Okay.
Moving on to one of my favorite things, which is the statistics. So the annual report, we run that on the calendar. So I'm going to report to you from January through April for all of the facilities, and then the comparisons that I give you will be for that same time period. So it's apples to apples. So the landfill waste, the waste that went to the landfill, is up 9%, 5,215 tons. Bill, because you've asked me this in the past, that is 3,383 trailers. That also includes that tonnage also includes 1,916 tons that were diverted from the transfer stations that went direct to the landfill.
So what was the total tonnage again, Laureen?
The total tonnages for the landfill for 2021 into the landfill as of April 30th is 61,008. And so that brings us at 9% of an increase over last year, and that difference is 5,215 tons. Then moving on to Prairie, I'm going to save Ramsey for the last because that one seems to be the hot spot always. It's just the middle of Coeur d'Alene. So Prairie's customer counts are up 6.18%. That is a difference of 3,766 customer transactions. As of April 30th, that's 64,748 transactions that went through that transfer station. And then their tonnages are up 21.95%, or 8,279 tons. So far, there's been 27,833 tons that have been processed at that facility since the beginning of the year.
How many again?
27,833 tons.
Okay.
And then the last one is, I call her the grandma of all of our facilities, Ramsey. It is a hopping place. The customer counts are up 15.71%, or 15,739, different from last year. Total customer counts, 115,931 since January of this year. And the tonnages are up 21 0.95%. I misread prairies. They were up 12.55%. Got the wrong line.
Oh, okay.
So Ramsey's cumulative tons are 45,997. So this is the time of the year where we kind of have that spring changeover, where you kind of go from winter's going, the snow's kind of melting, and now the snow disappears and everybody's cleaning their yards, and our customer counts, the transfer stations turn out really busy. So having that in mind, I've run you some numbers from March 30th through May 2nd. And I have 5 years worth of data for that, for the Ramsey facility. And I'm only going to talk about the customer counts because I want you to get a feel for what's happening at this transfer station. So in 2017, there were 33,027 customers with an average of 971 customers. That's in a 9-hour period of time. In 2018, that number went to 35,146 with an average of 1,033. In 2019, it was 37,053 with an average of 1,089. In 2020, remember that would be prime COVID time, that number went to 39,671 with an average of 1,167. In 2021, it's 43,128 customers. That now average is 1,268 customers in a 9-hour period of time. That's up 30.5% over 2017's numbers. To give you an idea of this same period of time, Ramsey has processed 23,565 tons through that same period of time. Of that 23,000 tons, there were 1,445 garbage trucks, and they brought in 9,712 tons, or 41% of the waste. And 2,887 commercial transactions, so some of those are dump beds that go around to the back of the building. They brought in 5,141 tons, or 22% of the waste. And there were 38,796 free customers that came through. They brought in 8,712 tons, or 37% of the waste. So I just kind of want you to, because Ramsey is just really getting overwhelmed, and the amount of customers that are coming in, that kind of warrants the construction that we're doing. And then it's very important because those are the ones that you're going to get the call on, is that they had to wait in line, or how busy those facilities are. The staff is just on their toes. They're running every scale house that we can, and then sometimes you can't get them out of the facility because of the traffic on Ramsey is so busy that they're stuck on the, so it
That's
just
correct.
that also builds into what's happening at that facility. So just to kind of give you a feel for how really busy those sites are getting. And then the last thing I have is numbers, the revenue. So I run our revenue. This is unofficial. This is through March 31st. So I didn't have time to even try to figure out what happened the last couple of days in April. Our solid waste revenue is, on what I'm tracking, is up 8.67%. So an interesting notation, our solid waste fees, so that would be the $88 solid waste fee. Remember, we reduced our fees in 2020. Right now, as of March 31st, it's up 4.3%. So that could be, the solid waste fee is assessed a year in advance, and so that could be reflective of the real estate market. There's been a lot of real estate transactions that are taking place. New growth is also a factor in that as well, but I thought it was interesting to see that we reduced it. It should be, still in that negative area, and we're up 4%. Our scale house money, so that's the money that goes, the cash transactions, the credit card transactions in the scale houses themselves, it's up 28%. So there's just a lot of things that are happening in that. And then finally, in our accounts receivable, so this would be the charge accounts that we bill out, is also up 9.4%. Good news on our recycling commodities. The metal recycling is up a little bit. There's been a significantly more of that material coming in. The market really hasn't gone up that much, but it's just that more material is coming in or more people are separating it out. And then making the change in our recycling program, taking the commingled materials out from the rural sites and just putting cardboard in, and then making a couple of slight changes at the transfer station where we're not taking all of the mixed plastics, we're just taking the plastic beverage containers. That has significantly impacted the revenue. So before there was no revenue, there was no savings to subsidize the cost of processing. So we actually have we're in the black on that side of the revenue at about $10,000 as of the end of March. And then this year we do have that, we're able to report that we've met that requirement with the gas to energy plant, so we do have a positive on the gas to energy for revenue. So of those materials, so the solid waste fee, what the city of Coeur d'Alene collects for us on the commercial side, the scale house monies, what we do in the accounts receivable, and then those two metal recycling and the landfill gas, our total tracked revenue is $7.5 million, which is up at 8.67%. Doing very well. Any questions? Lots of numbers to throw at you, lots of stuff going on.
Wow.
Good numbers.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely. Any questions for Lorene or Doug? What is it you guys never cover? You cover everything.
I try to make sure that everything, that you guys are well informed on what's going on. It's all about transparency. We want everybody to know. I mean, if we're up and honest and telling people what's going on, then there's no confusion as to how long you're gonna have to wait to get into the transfer stations or on the phone. The office staff is regularly telling people, if you're thinking about going on the weekend, there are, so there's a little bit of a lag time, maybe later in the morning on the weekends, but, trying to
How long
encourage.
does it actually take sometimes to get them in at the longest?
It could take 20 minutes.
Okay. But not 2
To
hours.
get all the way.
Not 2 hours.
No. They are, operationally, they do a phenomenal job
do.
about moving people. They're constantly using the radios to call for backup to get a second scale house open, or in some extreme cases, they'll try to pull free customer cards and send them out the operations gate. We try not to do that because we want to maintain the statistical data, but when you're trying to get someone out of and everything's all blocked up, then they do that as well. Z-walls, we keep preaching that. If it's bagged garbage, you can just, pull over to the Z-wall and just throw that over the edge, and you don't have to try to back in. It's a lot safer. There's a, compact area, lots of people. It's pretty scary. And then just, having people be considerate, and that's what we've been trying to reach out and try to get people to do. One last comment. Chilco, our rural site, so the highway district is rerouting that. We think that new entrance will open up, I think maybe this week.
I was told probably this week, so.
So we do have some notifications out on Facebook and our website that they should just watch for signs, because that's gonna be a little bit confusing on how they're gonna get into that Chilco site as they wrap up that construction on that as well.
Any idea in terms of what's slipping through from Washington?
I'm sure there's lots of
Funny
stuff.
I should ask.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are slipping through from Washington, because we've actually have employees that have seen people pull plates off and put an Idaho plate on.
Really?
Out at Post Falls. So The window sticker program is alive and well. I can tell you that people who own property in Kootenai County and are paying their solid waste fee that are from out of state, almost all of them are diligent about getting their window stickers. We've issued a lot more window stickers this year. It's just more about that commercial activity because their fees are so much less than what ours are. So staff is doing what they can to question what's coming in as best as we can. But you have to take customers at what they tell us. We're not an arm of law enforcement.
Even if you see them changing license plates.
That one you could call law enforcement about, but again, it's more about our job is to manage waste.
Oh, I know
And
that,
we need
of
to
course.
take care of that part.
Lorraine, what's the future of Ramsey? If this growth rate were to continue, and it clearly at some point it's going to slow down, but go ahead.
Ramsey's not gonna fail for the amount of tons that comes through. A transfer station is set up for economy of scale, so the amount of waste that comes in
Yeah.
is not really a problem. Ramsey is we're landlocked in, so we pretty much have to take with what we have. So what's failing, what's the breaking point for Ramsey is the number of cars that come in and want to be on that facility at the same time. Doug has been preaching to me for years that we need to site another transfer station. It's not a fun thing to do, so I'm gonna try to hold off as best we can. We did put some money into this year's fiscal budget for '22 for a study to see what we can do with the land that we have, what configurations that we have. The guys have been staffing, they had some really interesting and out-of-the-box thinking for operations at the Ramsey transfer station to try to divert some of the things. And then we've also, by putting the scales in at the landfill, when we know that there's a large project that's taking place, they're doing a demolition, for instance, we'll take care of all of the front-end paperwork about being asbestos-free or asbestos, and then we'll divert them and send them directly down to the landfill. With the scales down there, then that waste doesn't have to go through the transfer station itself. That helps a little bit in the back. The back side of the transfer station is where the garbage trucks and the commercial businesses are going, but that is also really picking up. We've had some significant situations that are taking place back there, lots of impatience. These are business folks. They don't want to waste any time. They're in a hurry. They want to get in, they want to get out. And so we've had a little bit of problem in the back areas, and operationally they're working on that as well to address. And we'll just continue to try to figure out what can be the best for Ramsey, but it's centrally located, so people are going to still come.
Okay. Doug, anything?
Just some comments about how busy Ramsey is, and not only Ramsey, the whole department, Prairie. Ramsey was over 1,700 people yesterday, so I don't know, 1,780 something, round up to 1,800. That's 200 people per hour coming through there, and to my knowledge, we didn't have any complaints. So the crew's doing a phenomenal job keeping people moving, and I just want to give a shout out to the crew at Ramsey, at Prairie, at the rural sites, at the landfill. We're making it happen.
Good.
Prairie didn't have any numbers. They weren't anything to sneeze at either. They had over 1,200 customers, I believe, on Saturday. So it was a great weekend. The sun was shining. People were doing yard work. So it's gonna be busy now through October. It's just not going to slow down. And our staff is geared up, and they didn't have much of a rest for winter because we didn't really have a slowdown. So it's a challenge to maintain a smile on your face and to be polite and kind to all of the folks that come in, especially since folks aren't really super nice, but they manage to do it on 7 days a week at the transfer station. It's pretty phenomenal what these guys do.
I agree.
Makes you proud. Makes you proud to be part of
Absolutely.
that team.
Good job. Please pass it on. Many thanks.
We will.
Leslie, Bill? Public comment? Hearing none? 10:21, meeting adjourned. Thank you, well done.